Hey guys, it's Kyle Waugh with Agora Wealth Management. I just want to talk to you a little bit about funding an emergency account. I think that this is something that very commonly just people don't understand, or maybe it's been a while since you revisited this topic. And so what does it mean to fund an emergency account or have cash reserves? I like to help people think through this. Like, what is the scale and scope of an emergency in your life? And I find that really has a lot to do with other factors that are going on in your life. Whether that's my best friend who has 5 kids, a couple businesses, he's married, has a couple houses, to somebody like that is just starting to transition to living on their own. Maybe the person living on their own might have to look at what are they making, what do they expect to have to pay in terms of they're moving out, they need to have money to rent a place, they need to have money to fix their car, buy a car, keep a car on the road. Maybe they don't have a lot of credit. Maybe they're working on developing their credit, so maybe it's something that costs a little bit of money to get that process going. But I think that when you kind of look at it from those two aspects, you can kind of scale the emergency. And so you can think, okay, well, you probably need somewhere in the realm of 3 to 6 months of expenses covered at a minimum. I do know that the scale of employment, or let's say like the opportunity for employment, can be different. So people that might work in like the oil field or the electrical field, they might be out of work during the slow season or winter months. So that could be something where they might need closer to 6 to 12 months. Or if there's people that work like DOD jobs, their contract might expire and they might not go back to work for months or up to a year or two, depending on how particular they are about the offer that they take. So when I think about that, it's it's a lot more expensive to use credit, right? So if you have to finance your emergency, you're really going to remove efficiency, and that cuts into your time. So basically, sorry, the radio came back on for a brief moment, but long story short is that's kind of something that I have people think through routinely is, what could go wrong that could cost you money? What could, what are your different, I guess you look through the risks, but there's a multitude of them. And so how do you identify them? How do you quantify those? How do you qualify them? What are the assets? And sometimes people have a lot of people around them that can help them out. I have a great network of people. Not everybody has that. Some people have moved away from family. Maybe they don't have a good relationship. Maybe they don't have a lot of friends or a huge social circle. And so I think that these are just good ideas to address. Think through them. What happens if you, let's say, transmission goes out in your car? Do you have the skills to fix it? Do you have the money? Do you have the time? How far away from work do you live? And do you have to travel? Other things are, you look at different risks like COVID. COVID put a lot of businesses out of business. A lot of people didn't know if they'd be able to stay open. When you kind of look at it from that perspective, it starts to paint a picture of what you need to have in reserves. So they say cash is king, but holding cash also costs you money. But holding cash is cheaper than taking on new debt too. So I think I just want to shape this conversation. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I think that it's just good for everybody to sit there and kind of contemplate, because I think that if you don't have access to somebody that does this, I mean, like I do this every day with clients, so it's like I see it, we talk about it. Every time I meet with somebody, it's different things happen. You know, maybe they had a kid, maybe they got divorced, maybe they got injured, or there's a health issue, you know. Maybe they have a loved one going through something, maybe they have to go take care of that person. You just don't know until you start thinking about the scope of what that looks like. So I encourage you to think about emergency funds. This is one of the other reasons to build your credit. If you do end up in a predicament where you have to borrow money, it's always going to be cheaper if you have better credit. People are going to look at you as a lower risk, and if you don't have credit, period, then you just don't even have the resource available. So just like everything, it's cheaper if you plan ahead. But I guess let me know if you have any questions. I just made this video a little bit longer. No, not everybody's going to watch it, but I feel like at any rate, it's good to just get the ball rolling inside your mind, and then you can start figuring out how that looks. I encourage everybody, like, go find yourself, at the bare minimum, find a competitive money market to put that money in. It's fully liquid, so you can get to it. Liquidity is important, especially in an emergency scenario, because it doesn't cost you money. If you put it in a CD, you lose the interest. If you put it in, you know, an IRA, you may be able to get it out. You may not, depending if it's a qualified expense. But yeah, there's just different things that you need to think about when you're tying money up. Sometimes there's illiquid investments. You definitely don't want that for emergency funds. We'll try to think of the other ideas that might be helpful in this, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to just end it there. Most people's attention spans aren't this long anyways, but if you got questions, thoughts, comments, constructive criticism, send it to me, Kyle, K-Y-L-E, at Agora, A-G-O-R-A, wealthmanagement.com. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you soon.